One of the things people love about you is you speak your mind and you don't use a politician's filter. However, that is not without its downsides, in particular when it comes to women. You've called women you don't like fat pigs, dogs, slobs, and disgusting animals. Your Twitter account...
Only Rosie O'Donnell.
No, it wasn't.
Welcome, everybody. My name is Shane, and this is the Shane Holloway Show, and we've got a packed show for you today, so stay tuned. First up, we have a massive drug seizure that happened in Panama, seizing more than 13 tons of cocaine banned from the United States. A total of 10 people were arrested, and 11,562 packages were seized. You can see all of them lined up here. Now, that's a lot of cocaine. All right, next up, we have the Polish Pride. So this is the Independence Day. I guess this is November 11th.
Także witam was w ponad 100 000 tłumie Polaków. To my! To my!
Crazy. Next up, we have the ostriches. So, Animal Justice breaking. Animal Justice has filed a legal complaint with the CFIA over cruel methods it used to execute hundreds of ostriches at Universal Ostrich Farm. Shooting animals in the dark in front of their flockmates goes against agency guidelines and likely caused illegal suffering. So, I'm going to go deeper into it now. So, here's another one where Shareware Canada says, breaking ostriches are not poultry. Publicly announced a tort claim will be filed for legal accountability for each government official and every ostrich death of at least 1 million for each misclassification of ostriches as poultry. The CFIA's directive to call ostriches under poultry regulations is unlawful, as ostriches are ratatites, not poultry, and therefore outside of the scope of poultry-specific rules. Under the Health of Animals Act, the agency's authority to manage animal diseases must be exercised within its statutory jurisdiction, and misapplying regulations constitute ultra-vires action. Additionally, sections 444 and 447 of the Criminal Code, or 4442, 447 the Criminal Code of Canada, protect animals from unnecessary suffering, and culling ostriches without proper legal justification, subjects them to harm without adequate authority. This misclassification represents both a regulatory overreach and a violation of Canadian animal protection laws, requiring immediate reassessment to comply with legal and welfare standards. Okay, next up, we have a statement from America on the ostriches culling.
In Ottawa, and I think that this requires an investigation by an outside force, whether it's the United States or whether it's the other international courts. But the truth has to get out.
Yes, it does.
I'm disappointed in some of the politicians that did not have the courage to stand up and say, enough is enough. Let's do the right thing. And there's millions of Canadians, millions of Americans, well, United States citizens and Canadians, which, like I said, we're all Americans. We're all part of America. And those millions of Canadians and millions of United States citizens that are concerned about this, they're speaking out, and let's let the truth prevail. And
so I thought that was well said. And we're going to have to keep moving on because this is a packed full show. So next up, we have H-1B visas. Breaking, it has been revealed that 70% of H-1B visas are coming from India, and more than 80% of approvals are for entry-level and junior-level jobs. It's a little hard to stomach when we hear we are not talented enough or not skilled enough for these jobs. Considering most of these jobs are entry-level or junior-level jobs, it is definitely to the benefit of corporations, tech companies. They can hire foreign workers. Trust me on this, cheaper than American workers. So I'll just give you a broad overview. H-1B visas are visas where you get temporary foreign workers to come in and fulfill jobs that other people can't do. But what's happening is there's agencies out there, and I'm not saying that it's corruption on a government level. Maybe it's not, but there is some kind of corruption going on where the people who hire these people are like a lot of them are Indians, and then they'll hire other Indians. Now, this is, you can see this in the stats here. 70% of people are coming from India. So.
Jobs. As I mentioned, STEM fields dominate the occupations, and most of the workers come from India. In fact, 70% of H-1B visa holders come from India. Another 10 to 15% come from China. 80% of H-1B visa approvals are for entry-level or junior-level jobs. That's a little hard to stomach when we hear that we're not talented enough or that we're not skilled enough for these jobs, when you consider that most of these jobs are actually at entry or junior-level jobs. And it's definitely to the benefit of corporations, tech companies that can hire foreign workers, trust me on this, cheaper than American workers. This is laid out, by the way, by billionaire tech entrepreneur Palmer.
And he's 100% right. So this is artificially keeping wages down and causing a crisis of work. And, well, maybe not in America, but in Canada, we're having a youth job crisis. So here is Carney saying that he's going to put $1.7 billion to recruit top H-1B visa holders from America.
$1.7 billion for the world's most talented researchers, 1,000 of them, and targeted H-1B visa recruitment from the United States.
He was even on edge saying that. So we're going to have to keep an eye on this to make sure that Canadian jobs aren't being replaced by foreign workers, especially jobs that can be done by Canadians. So next up, we have the government shutdown. And here's Nick Sorter when the news broke last night. Wow, 2 Democrats in the House have now broken with their party and voted to end the Schumer shutdown. Bold move. Timu Obama and Hakeem Jeffries is going to throw a fit. Good on you, Representatives Adam Gray and Jared Golden. So Timu Obama is Hakeem Jeffries, if you didn't know. Okay. Next up, we have Trump announcing the government shutdown ending.
So with all of that, I just want to tell you the country has never been in better shape. We went through this short-term disaster with the Democrats because they thought it would be good politically. And it's an honor now to sign this incredible bill and get our country working again. Thank you.
All right, we got to move on. Next up, we had a giant geostorm yesterday, if you didn't know. This is what it looks like. So this right here is Earth. And this is Earth traveling through a giant, I don't know if it's magnetic or solar flare or what it is, but it's a lot of stuff coming off the sun. And you can see it's wrapping around us. And Earth's geomagnetic fields are pushing it away from us. So we're actually hurtling through this, or we did yesterday. I'm not sure if we still are. And here's the effects you can see. Let me make it bigger for you. So these are some of the pictures we see. This one's from RFK Jr. Glenn Beck. Beautiful church. Some people say it looked like Dark Archangel Gabriel trumpeting his horn. And you could even see it like, look at this. This is us traveling through the storm, guys. Someone had clouds. They couldn't see anything, so they colored it. Northern Lights at Family Ranch. Wow, guys. This is crazy. So anyway, that was the magnetic storm. Next up, we have... Oh, did I click the wrong button? I clicked the wrong button. All right, we're going to miss that part. So there was a there's a post showing that Palestinians were talking about genocide before Israel even went in. So it was it went viral because it shows that the left was telling people to start talking about genocide before genocide was even supposedly happening. Okay. So, and then this is the history of Palestine. Okay. So I'm going to go through this real quick because a lot of people claim that Palestine's been there for a long time. So they'll say the ancient Egyptians called it Palestine. So it's Paliset. And the Paliset were Philistines, an Aegean Greek people who invaded Canaan over 1200 BCE. They weren't Arabs, they weren't native, and disappeared over 2500 years ago. Assyrians were next, and they called it Palastu. The same root, Palestine, Philistia, not Palestine. The Assyrians used it to describe the Philistine cities like Gaza and Ashdod, not Jerusalem and Samaria or the rest of the land of Israel. So if you don't know, Palestine or Gaza, whatever you want to call it, is a region in Israel. Okay. And other people are claiming it's a part of another land. So the Greeks called it Palestina. Greek historians like Herodotus called Palestine as a regional term covering the land of the Jews and the Philistines. It was geographical, not a nation or a people. The Romans, which is what I hear most often, called it Palestina. After crushing the Jewish revolt in 135 CE, so this is before Jesus, Rome named Judea to Syria Palestina, deliberately erasing the Jewish name to humiliate the Jews, not to recognize any Palestinian nation. Now we go forward to the modern times. Before 1948, the term Palestinian referred mostly to Jews living under the British Mandate. The Palestinian Post today, Jerusalem Post, was Jewish. Arabs in the region identified as Arabs, not Palestinians. So no, the Palestine weren't Philistines, Palastu wasn't Palestine, and Palestina was a Rome insult to Judea. It wasn't Palestine then, it's not Palestine now, it was Israel. It is Israel, and it will stay Israel. So I thought that was important to explain all the fake news going on. Next up, we have Speaker Johnson releases a breaking crazy statement. He is mad at Chuck Schumer for trying to make a four corners agreement with him to reopen the government.
The biggest objection that I had to Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries, who were playing political games with people's lives when they shut the government down, was Chuck Schumer came out and said the quiet part out loud. I don't even think he realized, he has no self-awareness, but he came and cried to all of you that I would not agree to go into a back room and make a four corners agreement on these issues. That just he and I and Hakeem Jeffries and Leader Thune would go in a room and make this decision for the entire population of America and block out all of our colleagues as if they had no voice in it. That is why Washington is broken. That's why Congress hasn't worked well for people. That's why they don't have a lot of faith in what goes on here. And I'm committed to trying to restore that faith. And one way we do that is we get back to regular order, and we allow all the duly elected members of this body to have their voices heard. I'm not playing games, and Chuck Schumer, I'm not going in a back room with you and making a four corners deal on anything. And I hope you understand that. Thank y'all. We got the government.
That's Speaker Johnson laying down law. Next up, we have the viral news story about the Epstein files being released, specifically some emails. Now, this is Tim Burchett. He's a Republican, and he's explaining his point of view.
Hey, everybody. Tim Burchett in Washington, D.C. today, of course, trying to open up the government, but I tried to make them release the Epstein files, and I was blocked by the Democrats. This is all gamesmanship, folks. It's not about releasing the files. If they had something on Trump, they would have released it. Biden had it for 4 years, and they hate Trump more than anything in the world. And so now they blocked it, and so they can piecemeal the truth and the half-truths, both sides, of what really went down with Epstein. And it's kind of disgusting, really. But, well, I tried. That's all I can tell you.
This is the closest thing you'll get to the truth from anybody, honestly. He's a very honest man, and he tells it like it is. Now, I thought this was crazy. The Daily Mail published a headline implying that photos exist of me, Anna Paulina Luna, in a bikini with Donald Trump in his kitchen, which is entirely untrue and defamatory. This is not journalism. It is defamation. So the Daily Mail, Epstein claimed he had photos of Dirty Donald with bikini-clad girls in his kitchen in emails released by Republicans. So they actually used a photo of her that has nothing to do with Trump whatsoever to make it seem like he had pictures of her or something. Like, I don't know. These people, the people that write some of these stories, like Felipe Nieto, like these people probably just hate America or something, like, or they're just trying to cause trouble, or God only knows what they're doing. They're probably getting paid for this, but this is not the truth, okay? And now this is the best. This is going to explain it to you the best way that I've seen so far. It's a little long, but I'm going to speed it up, and I'm not going to watch all of it. So stick with me here.
Released Epstein emails by Democrats have raised fresh questions about U.S. President Donald Trump's relationship with a disgraced financier. On Wednesday, Democrats on the House Oversight Committee released 3 emails which suggest that Trump knew more about Epstein's sexual abuse than he has previously acknowledged.
So it says, victim spent hours at my house with him. He has never once been mentioned. Police chief, etc. I think I'm going to have to make it big so you can see it.
In one of the emails dated April 2021, Epstein wrote to Ghislaine Maxwell, his longtime associate, who was later convicted of...
Victim, Mar-a-Lago, redacted. Wait, now you can't see this. Trump said he asked me to resign. Never a member ever. Of course, he knew about the girls, as he asked Ghislaine to stop.
Trump spent hours at his house with one of the victims. More pressure is piling up on Trump after Republican House Speaker Mike Johnson said...
What was that last one?
Victims. More
Victim spent hours at my house with him. He has never once been mentioned. Police chief, etc. I'm 75% there.
Pressure is piling up on Trump after Republican House Speaker Mike Johnson said he would hold a vote next week.
I want to put in here that the girl has said that she's never seen Trump do anything wrong. The victim, so the supposed victim from the story, from the email. So, and what the other guy said is true. Biden had access to all these files for a long time, never released them, and he hated Trump. So
force the Justice Department to release the remaining Epstein files. Now the release comes as Democrats push for the full Epstein files to be made public, with newly sworn in Arizona Congresswoman Adelita Grijalva giving Democrats the final signature they needed to force a House vote on the matter.
Speaker Johnson purposefully obstructed my swearing in by canceling vote after vote. And the Epstein files discharge petition sat one signature short. With my signing, we move one step closer to the truth that they will try to deny, but that survivors deserve their day of justice, and the American people demand it.
Trump slammed the move, calling it the Jeffrey Epstein hoax, and accused Democrats of trying to distract from what he called the failures of the government shutdown. The White House also pushed back, calling the emails misleading and...
Go back to that quote there so you can see it.
The government shutdown. The White House also pushed back, calling the emails misleading and taken out of context to smear the president.
This is Washington.
These emails prove absolutely nothing other than the fact that President Trump did nothing wrong. And what President Trump has always said is that he was from Palm Beach, and so was Jeffrey Epstein. Jeffrey Epstein was a member at Mar-a-Lago until President Trump kicked him out because Jeffrey Epstein was a pedophile and he was a creep.
Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker, however, says that Democrats' release is just the beginning and that more revelations will come to light once the full files are made public. The House votes on releasing the full Epstein files is likely to take place next week. Trump and Epstein were friends for more than a decade and were photographed together at social events from Palm Beach to New York. The two reportedly fell out in 2004 over a property dispute. Epstein died by suicide in federal custody in 2019 while awaiting trial on sex trafficking charges. Trump denies any wrongdoing or even acknowledging Epstein's crimes.
All right, so we're going to skip forward. He interviews someone.
Trump's presidency, but the Epstein files and the Epstein case keeps haunting the president. What's the impact that this Epstein case is having on the president and also his MAGA constituents?
Yeah, great questions, Eric. First of all, these emails that the Democrats decided to release the night that the shutdown ended are significant, but there's no smoking gun in these emails. Ultimately, the question is not just what these emails say, but how they're associated with Donald Trump and how much does Donald Trump know and knew about Epstein and his illicit activities. So those are the questions that both Democrats and Republicans want to get to the bottom of. It's definitely not a good look for the Trump administration, Donald Trump and his DOJ, notably Pam Bondi, for not going ahead and releasing all of these files. But I think the Democrats and Republicans both, and even many in Trump's own MAGA base, while they won't attach so much significance to what just was released by the Democrats last night, but they do want to know what are in these Epstein files, not just related to Donald Trump, but why is it that the DOJ just won't release them? So this vote next week that Speaker Johnson is backing as well might shed some light on that and force the DOJ to do that. Ultimately, I think both sides are saying, let everything come out and let the public decide. And then ultimately, if Donald Trump is not guilty and is innocent, then everyone's going to put this behind them. However, it's also important to note that, when President Trump talks about hoax and whatnot, there are those in his MAGA movement and his supporters who believe that the Democrats decided to selectively last night release this because it would take the headlines and the news away from their failures in the government shutdown. And also another thing that Democrats might be under fire is that Speaker Johnson is willing to vote on this next week, but not talk about the Democrats' key demands, which is to put a vote on healthcare subsidies, which the shutdown initially. So, no smoking gun yet, but it's definitely of intrigue, of interest, and doesn't make the White House look good that it's sort of pushing back so much.
All right, so I thought that was the best explanation that I could find. We're going to move on. This is the horseshoe theory that I created, and I just want to explain this real quick. So right here, this is where everybody starts. You're like a Christian, you're a moderate, you're a centrist, you're secular, right? You start off in society young, and then through your experiences of life and everything, you're going to move either left or right, right? So you're going to become left wing this way. You're going to become like more right wing, depending on your thinking. Some people stay in this area their whole lives and never come out of it. So this would be like MAGA, conservatives, Republicans, anyone right wing, usually moderate right wing. Liberalism are liberals, Democrats, that kind of thing. And then you got Zoran Mamdani and all those guys, Democratic Socialists, and the NDP in Canada, and like the Labour Party in the UK. Then you got Marxism, or also called woke left. Now this is your Antifa. This is like your actual Marxists, like all the people that aren't exactly communists, but are more radical than socialists. They cause a lot of havoc in the society. Then you have communists. This is China. This is Russia in the 80s. This is, North Korea. This is like bad stuff. Everyone knows what that is. So then, so liberalism can turn into socialism, can turn into Marxism, can turn into communism. Okay. Now on the right, this is the side that most people don't know anything about. So conservatives, you start off conservative, then you realize, oh, your government should just be doing things for you and not for other countries, right? So that's isolationism. Then you realize, oh, we shouldn't even have other people in our country from foreign places. And that would be us only, or proto-fascists, right? So this is the rise of fascism. And then we have actual fascism, which is when the downtrodden come together and, you form like National Socialism, like the Nazis, or fascists in Italy in World War II, beginning of World War II in 1930s. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. We're going to move on because you're going to need it right now. Because right now, this is what I would call proto-fascists, or only us, right? The camp only us. This is further than isolationism. And we're going to talk about it because we're going to see there's a lot of the rise of anti-Semitism on the right. People are becoming more radical because things aren't going the way that they want. On the left, this happens through not isolationism, but globalism or internationalism. So we have to be careful on either side of the aisle. And the left wing is there to pull the right wing back from being radical. And the right wing is there to pull the left wing back from being radical. And you need both wings to fly. Okay? That's how democracy works. Ready? Let's go.
Fighting anti-Semitism reportedly decided to sever ties with the Conservative Heritage Foundation. It comes after the think tank's president, Kevin Roberts, defended Tucker Carlson's interview with a far-right anti-Semitic activist. This infighting has laid bare a growing schism within conservative circles over how to address anti-Semitism. William Brangham reports.
Nick Fuentes, thank you for doing this. Yeah, thank you for having me. I wanted to meet you.
The interview. So Tucker had Nick Fuentes on after Nick Fuentes did a segment about Tucker talking a bunch of stuff about his passed away dad. Okay. So this made Tucker mad. And then eventually he decided to interview Fuentes for unknown reasons. And it didn't go well because Fuentes is known as like anti-Semitic, anti-woman, anything but white,
which lasted over 2 hours.
We'll get into that.
Last month and has been seen over 20 million times. The conservative commentator Tucker Carlson interviewing Nick Fuentes, the 27-year-old hard-right influencer with millions of followers known as Groypers. Fuentes is known for his open racism.
White people have a special heritage here as Americans.
His misogyny, like when he wrote "Your Body, My Choice" after the 2024 election.
The whole political
1.3 million views, guys.
system is just based around women never being accountable for any of their choices.
And his overt anti-Semitism, ranging from Holocaust denial to his belief in a global Jewish conspiracy.
A big challenge to that is organized Jewry in America. I don't think
the interview with Carlson drew quick, sharp condemnation from many in the conservative movement. Ben Shapiro, editor of the Conservative.
So this is the important part. This is where MAGA civil war started, because the people who are pro-Israel or pro-Jewish or anti-Hitler, which you'd think would be most people, came out against this.
Daily Wire wrote, "No to the Groypers."
But see, some people think that they shouldn't be giving any weapons or money to Israel to, do wars. But I mean, they do it to almost every country. So it's kind of, just to single out Israel alone is kind of, prejudiced. And then the other side is like, well, we need to help Israel, because if we don't help Israel, then we lose our footing in the Middle East, and then everything goes bad over there, and then everything goes bad over here.
No to the cowards like Tucker Carlson who normalize their trash.
Christians can critique the state of Israel without being anti-Semitic.
But Kevin Roberts, head of the Heritage Foundation.
So this guy runs the Heritage Foundation, and he came out in defense of Tucker interviewing Nick Fuentes, which became even more of a political backlash because people started attacking Heritage, and the left doesn't like Heritage anyway, so...
Defended Carlson. Heritage is the influential conservative think tank behind Project 2025, and which has long supported Israel and America's support for it. Roberts argued attacking Carlson was a distraction.
The venomous coalition attacking him are sowing division. Their attempt to cancel him will fail. Most importantly, the American people expect us to be focusing on our political adversaries on the left, not attacking our friends on the right.
Roberts faced a strong backlash, including from staffers within Heritage, and calls for his resignation. He later apologized and denounced Nick Fuentes specifically. But the controversy has revealed the ongoing challenge of balancing different factions within the MAGA base. For the PBS NewsHour, I'm William Brangham.
For more.
So I thought that was a really good summary. We're going to move on to the next one. And this is a compilation someone did to show you guys. Like he said, I can't believe we're infighting so hard over just the slightest disagreements, guys, because people are trying to downplay this. Now, this is actually a little bit graphic in the language, so if you have any children in the room, cover their ears. And this does not represent my views whatsoever.
So I'm going to just shut up, and you tell me what you actually believe.
I love Hitler. We love Hitler, not in a fucking gay way.
But also, I support Hitler, so it's really besides the point. But
here's the real problem. Jewish people running America.
More than anything, those people need to be, when we take power, they need to be given the death penalty.
I would say that the Jews had better start being nice to people like us. A lot of women want to be raped. And when I say raped, I mean like, that sounds bad when I say it like that. But there's like a lot of women that really want a guy to beat the shit out of them.
Well, women are children. Like the way that women should be regarded is like, they are between men and children.
I gotta find my 16-year-old wife. Probably when I turn 30 or something. A lot of people say this show is racist, and they're right. Don't say nigga, say nigger. You can do it. You can say it.
I don't like race mixing.
Yeah, I don't like.
I think it's wrong.
In terms of tangible things, I don't think we disagree on any of it. Like registering AIPAC and FARA, banning dual citizenship.
But it's subverted when they're like, that's hate. No, that's hate. It's not hate.
See, that's Tucker defending it. So now people attack Tucker, and oh yeah, this is the Groypers, I think. I don't know who's doing this. This is like a psyop. So you can see this guy says the latest totally organic script has gone out, and you'll see all these people will start posting the same thing to make it start trending on X and make people think that this is what's going on. And what Nick posted and everybody posted. See, these are all Groypers. All right. So next up, we're going to see the Jewish side of it. Okay. So this is Dov He Kind. I don't know if I said that right. Declares Nick Fuentes the #1 anti-Semite in America.
Got a lot of people that support Tucker. They're calling it, hey, he has a right to interview whomever he wants. What do you think?
Well, it's really sad and depressing to see what's going on the political right with the Heritage Foundation, one of the most important groups in this country, conservative groups, that you have the leader of that organization praise Tucker Carlson and the show that he had with I think, the #1 anti-Semite in America. Mm-hmm. Someone who is a great fan of Adolf Hitler. Mm-hmm. Someone who is a Holocaust denier. Someone who...
What happened there? Sorry, guys.
People that support Tucker.
Someone who is a great fan of Adolf Hitler. Mm-hmm. Someone who is a Holocaust denier. Someone who really, literally blames Jews for every single problem in the world. Sounds familiar. And the head of the Heritage Foundation, he was sorry, but really hasn't done the right thing. There's a lack of courage, a lack of leadership. He should get out of the way for the sake of the conservative movement in this country. He is hurting the Republican Party, and we will pay for this. I'm telling you, this is shocking to me. When it comes to hate, Lydia, there's got to be one standard. I remember all of us, when things were happening on the left and are still happening, we were all...
He's talking about, I think he's talking about, well, not just anti-Semitism, but a lot of hatred and radicalization and people getting hurt and killed and assassinated and all that stuff.
United. It was unacceptable. It's unacceptable when it happens on the right. And I don't give a darn if it's Tucker Carlson or anyone else. If you indulge in anti-Semitism, you sponsor anti-Semitism, you are a bad guy. And we're not talking about canceling. Nobody's going to take away his show. But we're talking about doing the right thing, disassociating yourself from someone like Tucker Carlson, who I think, honestly, is not well. There's something wrong there. He is the #1 person in this country. You got Fuentes, who preaches the anti-Semitism, and you have someone like Tucker Carlson, who has a show dedicated to having Jew haters on. This is just the latest episode, Lydia. You know that. I mean, he's had people on his show who are anti-Semites, who hate America, historians who believe that Churchill was the bad guy, Adolf Hitler was not so bad.
Right.
And Tucker Carlson plays that game. It's sad, and it's going to hurt the Republican Party if something doesn't happen.
And it already has been. So we're going to go into Tucker Carlson got interviewed a little bit after all this happened. And Megyn Kelly was asking him, and she was actually trying to get the right to come back together, okay? And this is the right attacking her, saying Tucker Carlson put Megyn Kelly in her place about not pushing back on the vile things that Nick Fuentes says. So let's listen to it. It says right here, Tucker Carlson's response was not directed towards Megyn Kelly. It was made to the people she said were criticizing him. The comment that he put Kelly in her place is factually incorrect. Okay, so this is the kind of psyop stuff that they do, right?
A long list of very vile things.
Big time, including attacking my dad, which was the most vile of all, in my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, I personally have watched videos of him questioning the Holocaust, likening it to baking cookies in the oven, and there's no way you could have gotten to 6 million, seems to be his theory. He seemed to think that we've way overstated the number of Jews killed in the Holocaust. He's ripped on poor Usha Vance in the most offensive terms, which I mean, so what do you say to those people? Say, why didn't you raise any of that?
Do your own interview the way that you want to do it. You're not my editor. Buzz off. I mean, I don't know. You want to go yell at Nick Fuentes? I'll give you his cell. Call him and go sit and yell at him and
the 4 people who clapped
feel virtuous or whatever. That's up to you. I got the same thing with Putin. Why aren't you yelling at him? Okay, why? So I can show that I'm a good person? I care about what my wife thinks, my children think, and God thinks, and that's it.
Anyway, we'll move on. Trigonometry had Dave Smith, and now Dave Smith is a comedian, but he also does political commentary and stuff. And this is him denying that Iran is even a threat to any of the Sunni states in the region. He denies that we ever had to go into Iran, or America ever had to go in to help the Israelis in Iran. He just denies everything. He's kind of like on Fuentes' side and Tucker Carlson's side in a lot of respects. Maybe not the anti-Jewish stuff, but some of the other stuff, like the isolationism and stuff that leads to fascism. So a lot of people are trying to push back on him, and he himself is Jew and a leftist Jew.
There's a lot of people who would say, and I'm sympathetic
libertarian
to this, which is you have Iran, which are essentially funding terror cells right the way through the Middle East, Hezbollah, Hamas, amongst others, which are effectively destabilizing the region. There's a lot of Muslim Arabic countries who despise Iran because they see them as an existential threat to their existence, which they are. They're Islamist in nature. So by that, you would argue that unless you deal with the threat of Hamas, unless you deal with the threat of Hezbollah, you are essentially going to have a Middle East which is more unstable, which is going to become a hotbed of terrorism, which eventually is going to impact the safety of nations around the Middle East, but also in the West and in the United States.
I mean, that's pretty common sense, right? You'd think.
Yeah, I think there's been a lot of people who are arguing if we don't take this group out or that group out, it's going to lead to instability in the Middle East. And every single time we go to make that move, it leads to more instability in the Middle East. And I flat out reject the idea that Iran is an existential threat to any of those Sunni states in the region. Like Saudi Arabia, who are we talking about? Jordan, Egypt?
UAE. I mean, if you speak to people in those countries.
Yeah, I'm sure they're concerned about
them.
Very
concerned
yes, of course. And there's a Sunni Shiite beef that's been going on for many, many years. And there's a lot. But the idea that the U.S. sock puppet states over there are really threatened by Iran, I just don't think is right.
They do feel that.
Yeah, okay, fine. But I don't think they're right about that. I don't think Iran is taking over Saudi Arabia. What do you mean existential threat here? They're going to take out one of these countries, unlike
He's so defensive and deflective, but he never actually says anything that makes sense.
Take out is, I mean, countries don't tend to take each other out, but go to war, they're fighting over interest. Like, they are a
they're
threat.
fighting over interest. I think that's more correct. But I also think that there's an interesting thing where when you go like all these, all the like Shiite terrorist groups, or I guess Hamas is whatever. But if you're talking about Hezbollah, Hamas, the Houthis, like the people who Iran have been in business with, and I think of those groups, Hezbollah the most, you know what I mean? Like there's real direct connections and training and stuff there. It's a little bit different with the Houthis and with Hamas. But again, those weren't the enemies of the American people. You know, when we go back to 9/11, and it's been really fascinating how like the war on terror just like totally shifted over to being this whole other group that has nothing to do with knocking our towers down or attacking the Pentagon or any of that. Our beef was always with the Sunni radicals, and the Sunni radicals are actually at war with a lot of those groups that you're talking about. So we've weirdly also done this thing now where we've picked sides, which I would say I think has a lot more to do with security concerns for Israel.
I highly suggest going and see my Remembrance Day video. It's a 2.5-hour special where I go through like why we went to war, why it happened, what it looked like, all that stuff, and the actual history, and why we should remember it's very important. Because if not, then you run into people like this, alt historians who look at history and then determine its outcome based on their own personal beliefs.
And it does for the United States of America. But now we're on the side of Al-Qaeda in Syria. We're on the side of Al-Qaeda. We were in Libya. We're on the side of Al-Qaeda in Yemen. And so like, no, I actually don't think that's good for if you look over the last 15 years, the people who were destabilizing the regions the most were the bin Ladenite head choppers. I mean, that was really the major problem that we had there. And so fighting on those guys' side in all of these conflicts, I don't think has done anything.
Well, the Sunnis have changed, right? The Saudi regime, the UAE regime, they are very not extremist. The Saudis used to spread extremism throughout Europe. They're not doing it now, the people in charge, right? So the extremists and the terrorists are mostly now being funded and spread by Iran, I think is Francis' point.
And that's 100% true. So we got end the show real quick, so I'm gone over. But India discovers massive amounts of explosives that were planned to be used in 32 car bombs and sites connected to the 10/11 New Delhi terrorist bombers.
From our sources, what we're getting to know is a major conspiracy was being hatched in room number 13 of building number 17 at Al-Falah University. As part of the plan, a large quantity of explosives had been purchased with the aim of preparing 32 vehicles. 32 cars for attacks and causing widespread devastation. The case, of course, is under investigation. Anushka joining me on that. Anushka, more and more details emerging, linking it to Al-Falah University. 32 cars is what they were planning, Anushka.
They linked it to that university.
That's right, Vedika. As we are piecing together the information, it seems that they were in fact amassing such massive amount of explosives so that they could prepare it and keep it inside 32 cars and drive it to different key locations in Delhi NCR and around North India so that they can orchestrate a massive attack that could in fact also overtake the intensity of the 26/11 attack that happened in Mumbai. We are outside the Al-Falah University, inside where these whole plans were in fact being hashed by Shaheen and also Muzammil Shakil will try to get you some visuals. Also, Haryana police have once again reached here so that they could investigate further in this matter. This is a university that remains at the center. 40% of the population here are of Kashmiri people. Many of the people who are in fact studying inside had no idea that this was happening just inside the university where they were coming to study and where they were in fact teaching students. And they have in fact also claimed the university had come out with a statement yesterday. They had said and they had also acknowledged that 2 of the faculties here had been detained and that questioning is also in fact going on. Rounds of questioning have been going on because remember they were living here inside for the past 3.5 years. And also to get the viewers a sense of what this location looks like, I'll ask my camera person Panchanan to pan the camera and show you the visuals of the area here. This is Fatehpur Taga village of Dhauj police station here.
All right, so that's that. Now, got one last clip for you guys, and it's pretty baller. This is Ukraine. Meanwhile, in Ukraine, we've got a minigunner taking out a Shahed drone. So it's going to be loud as hell, but check it out. Ooh. Well, that's my show, guys. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to leave a like, share, subscribe, and follow. And I'll see you guys next time. Peace.